Howdy. Today we want to talk a little bit about sharing. We've been talking this week about our resources, our time, our money, our energy, and how they're all blessings from God. Not to say that one has more blessings than another, but rather it is to say that we each have 100% of the blessings that God has intended for us. Now, with that, what we want to do is we want to understand a little bit more about how this connects with sharing. Now, I want us to be very careful because oftentimes this can turn into Stewardship Sunday or into another thing about tithing. I'd rather start off in a different direction first. I'd like us to look at James 1, starting at verse 22. But be doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving yourselves. For if anyone is a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like a man who looks intently at his natural face in a mirror. For he looks at himself and goes away, and at once forgets what he was like. But the one who looks into the perfect law, the law of liberty, and perseveres, being no hearer who forgets, but a doer who acts, he will be blessed in his doing. If anyone thinks he is religious and does not bridle his tongue, but deceives his heart, this person's religion is worthless. Religion that is pure and undefiled before God the Father is this: to visit orphans and widows in their affliction, and to keep oneself unstained from the world. Now, what I want to point out is that it speaks of the law of liberty being the perfect law. Now, this is the idea that the law of freedom is what ends up determining the direction in which we go. Now, we feel oftentimes that that is sort of like, a juxtaposition of two opposites. But the actuality is that while we think of law as telling us what to do and liberty as being free from being told what to do, in reality what we're seeing is a deeper meaning. The law is how it is that we behave, and the law of liberty is saying that we are free to do so. Now, why would we freely want to do the things that are good, the things that are right? We do them freely because of who we are now. The fact is that because of what God has done in his Son, Jesus, the fact that we have new life, the fact that life is eternal, the thing is that now we can end up changing things in a way through the lives that we live because of what has been done for us. We don't have to worry about proving anything to God. We don't have to worry about proving anything to each other, but we also don't have to prove anything to ourselves. But now, when we look in the mirror, then we get to look and say, who am I actually? And even deeper than that is to be able to ask, how is it that I can truly be blessed in a way that matters? Because when we think of all the things that we have, those things are just things. Even when we think of time and money, even our energy, all these things are just items. Now, the reason why it is that they're not necessarily true blessings by themselves is because by themselves they don't do anything. But how we use them ends up determining whether we're blessed. Now, the thing is that if we see the widows and the orphans, basically all those people who are in need, who cannot help themselves out of their situation, which is what widows and orphans were in this passage, then what we see is as we look at them, we see those who need us the most. And as we're able to then give of ourselves for them, we end up being blessed because it transforms us and who we are and what we stand for. And it changes the world around us as well. And so as we do so, we want to be asking this question of, who is it that we see in this world that truly needs our help? Who are the ones that convict us so that when we see them, we freely want to give to them? Not because we're constantly being guilted, but because no matter what, we must.